king. Every kingdom possess these 10 things are, I think it's 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 things, rather. But we're covering them one by one. We talked about a king and a lord, which equals sovereign. S-O-V-E-R-I-G-N, sovereign, or is sovereign. We discovered that the king is automatically Lord, and if you're going to be a king, you got to have a territory. You can't be a king over nothing. You got to have something that you're over.
Yes.
A domain, so to speak. You got to have something that you're ruling over.
Right.
You just can't call yourself a king or queen and you're not ruling anything. You got to be. And this is where we are now, a constitution. I'm still getting some interesting study on it, or a royal covenant. And why is all of this stuff so important? Because if we're going to understand the kingdom, we must understand what's in it. You got to understand what's in it if you're going to understand it. See, I got that wrong. Covenant, which is a contract, an agreement. And what we're talking about is some differences in a contract, a constitution in a kingdom, and a constitution in a republic or a democracy. It's totally different. Where we are a nation of, oh God, that's a lot more. And if you possess this book, this will really help you to understand. This is chapter 7, the concept of a constitution. And I was just highlighting some stuff in here this morning. Matter of fact, what we want to take a look at and understand is, we talked about this a little bit last week, is in a kingdom, the king initiates the contract. And the king, everything that flows out of the king's heart is his desires for you and his contract with you, or what he's saying he will do for you. Matter of fact, let's go to Genesis 12, if we can get Genesis 12, 1 and 3. And this is, and the easiest one to remember is if you want to get you need an example of what a constitution really is and how it affects an individual. And I see in so many families, there could be one person that God want to start a covenant with that will affect the whole entire family. And you're going to see this when he's talking to Abraham. You saw it when he was talking to Adam in the garden. Adam had nothing to do with the contract. Everything was, when you're dealing with a kingdom, when you're dealing with a king, everything is flowing from the king. In other words, there's a word that that comes to mind. I think it's unilateral. One way. With a kingdom, is unilateral. It flows from the king, which is God, to you. It's not what you promising from God. And you're going to see, well then, what's your part in the Constitution? What's your part in the contract, brother? Mm-hmm. When you're looking at the what is your part in that contract that makes that Constitution be effective for you? So let's take a look at Genesis 12, 1 through 3. Now this is this flowing from God to Abraham. So Sister Early, if you got it, you read it for me.
1, 2, 3. Now the Lord had said unto Abram, Get thee out of thy country, and from thy kindred, and from thy father's house, unto a land that I will show thee. And I will make of thee a great nation, and I will bless thee, and make thy name great, and thou shalt be, and thou shalt be a blessing. And thou shalt be a blessing.
And thou shalt be a blessing.
Mm-hmm. And I will bless them that bless thee, and curse him that cursed thee, and in thee shall all families of the earth be blessed.
Do you see that? Everything is I will. I will do this. I'm going to do this. And the Lord said, leave your country. First of all, that's got to be what? Obedience on his part.
Right.
Because he hadn't left. Would he have got all this stuff? No.
No.
But everything unilateral. You see it all flowing. This is what kingdoms do. And he wasn't talking to all of the people. He was talking to who? Abraham. Or Abram at the time was his name. He later on became known as Abram.
Right.
And look at everything he's saying to him. Leave your country, your people, your father's household, and go to a land that what? I will show you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Then he says, I will make you a great nation. I will bless you. Uh-huh. I will make your name great.
Right. And after he make his name great, then he shall be a blessing.
And you shall be a blessing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But you see where I'm coming from?
Yeah.
I will bless he's not I will bless those that bless you. I will curse those that he's not even when they curse him, he's not even asking Abraham to respond.
He just said he'll do it.
I'll do it.
Right.
In other words, this is a contract. This is a covenant. This is what it's like to serve under a king. It is his express will towards you.
Okay. So.
And all peoples on earth will be blessed through you.
Okay. Uh-huh.
You don't see nowhere, and if you go to school and get an education, I'm going to do this. Now, we don't know how God directed it and brought all of this stuff in, but all you see in here is what God is telling him, I will do for you. I'm going to do this.
Right.
Now, in a republic, the Constitution is the people contract with themselves, and in a democracy, it's the people plan and decide what they want to happen. That's how democracy works. We all get together at this table. We say, well, we're gonna buy homes, we're going to buy cars, we're going to do this. Mm-hmm. And then we elect people to carry out what we really want. Right. But we decide. But in a kingdom, the king decides what he wants for you. You don't even have a choice. All your choice is you input as to what direction is going to come from or go in and how it's going to work. All the king is telling you is, I will. Right. That's my desire for you. This is what I want for you. I thought this would be very interesting. Then in 15 and 1, let's go to Genesis, same book, chapter 15.
15 and 1.
15 and 1.
After these things, the word of the Lord came unto Abram in a vision, saying, Fear not, Abram, I am thy shield, and thy exceeding great reward.
See, I'm going to shield you. I'm going to reward you. And he takes him outside in verse 5.
Verse 5, and he brought him forth abroad, and said, Look now towards heaven, and tell the stars, if thou be able to number them. And he said unto him, So shall thy seed be.
In other words, picture this in your head. He tells Abraham to come outside. Abram, rather. He tells Abraham to come outside. Look up into the sky and count the stars. You think you could do that? Do you actually think you could do that? So he's telling him, this is the descendants that you're going to have. Right. Now, you don't tell me that ain't great. And he's not telling him, this is what you're going to do, and I'm going to give you all. No, you come to me. You come to me, Abram, and I am going to come out here and look, count the stars. I had a similar experience. He asked me to number. I was going through stuff, and he said, took me outside, and I was already outside, and he just said, look up and count. And I got weary counting just the little bit of stars in Louisiana and he was saying, that's what I'm going to do for you. You're going to have descendants because you're you're going to preach the gospel. This is what we got to get back to. This is the king's covenant with us, and it is unilateral. It's not coming from over here and over there and mixed with this and it's coming directly from who?
God.
Directly from God. Directly from God. From God to Abram. God, nothing in between. But there's something that gets in the way of the covenant that we have with him. Let's read. But in a kingdom, the people have no say. Instead, the king tells you what he wants to happen to you. Isn't that what he's telling Abram at this time? The king is telling Abram what he wants to happen to him.
Right.
Let's go to Jeremiah 29 and 11 and 14. And while you're getting that, in this unilateralism, on God's part, it's an expression of his sovereignty to both Adam and Abraham, which we just read. God was saying, this is my government. This is the agreement I'm making with you. You don't dictate the terms or tell me what you want. I tell you what I want for you and what I will do for you. Do you see that in that writing? They're not dictating nothing. It's all God telling him what he wants from them, what he's going to do for them. They had no say-so. Boy, how would you like to live like that?
Now, here now, we're supposed to be doing the same thing with
you're going to see.
God.
I'm going to show you.
Okay.
I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you. Let's go to Jeremiah 11, 29 and 11 through 14.
Jeremiah 11, 20.
29th chapter.
29. Oh gosh, I done messed it up. I was on 29. 29, what now?
11th verse through the 14th.
For I know the thoughts that I think towards you, said
not
the
the thoughts that you think towards me for me to think towards you. He's telling Jeremiah, for I know the thoughts that I think towards you.
Said the Lord. Thoughts of peace and not of evil, to give you an expected end.
Mm-hmm.
Then shall you call upon me, and ye shall go and pray unto me, and I will hearken unto you. And ye shall seek me and find me, when ye shall search for me with all your heart.
See, look at that right there. The issue there is you will seek me and find me. There's a condition that's got to come. When you do it, with what? All your heart. That's when you find him. That's when you find him. See, a lot of people are seeking him, searching for him, but they won't do it with all their heart. All of their desire. Most people don't want him that way. Now, as I was looking into this, and I was looking at, and then he says, I will be what? Found
of you.
By you.
Oh.
In other words,
okay.
You can find me when you do it with what? All your heart. Now, let's go to Matthew 22 and 37 and see if Jesus didn't say this same exact statement. Let's just go there. And I want to go there in here, out of the Amplified. I was nice, because pretty much when you're reading out of the Old Testament, we're gonna read what Jesus had to say and see if it ain't coming along the same thing. Matthew chapter 22.
37.
And verse 37.
Jesus said unto him,
Mm-hmm.
Thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, and with all thy soul, and with all thy mind.
All of your intellect, everything. Now, we started here, and he replies to him. Him who? Who is Jesus talking to? And why is this man asking this question? If you go back up to verse 36.
Master?
Well, let's take it further than that. Let's go to verse 32.
I am the God of Abraham, and the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob. God is not the God of the dead, but of the living.
Now, were these guys, it sounds like if somebody, he's naming people that are dead.
Yes.
But then he says, I'm not the God of the dead, I'm the God. So that must be, they must be a what?
Living.
Got to be somewhere. I heard a man bring this out one time. It's like, wow, I never thought about that verse in that context. He says, I am the God of Abraham, I am the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob. He is not the God of the dead, but of the living. Wow, really? For it I know, I thought these folks were dead. But when you're talking to death, you're talking about maybe none physically existence, but they were existing in this world where God is talking. Because this is the heaven, in the heavens of heaven, they had to be, because he's not the God of the dead. He's the God of the living. Now, then when the, verse 33.
And when the multitude heard this, they were astonished
Astonished.
at his doctrine.
The man had some amazing teaching. Because I know they had to be sitting there. What are you talking about? These folks, I don't know if I'd have been sitting there. Abraham ain't here. Abraham, right. And you talking about you're not a God of the dead, you're God of the living. Well, where are they?
Right.
But keep reading. That ought to told you something right there. Verse 34.
But when the Pharisees had heard that he had put the Sadducees to silence, they were gathered together.
Verse 35.
Then one of them, which was a lawyer, asked him.
That's who it was. See, it's always the lawyer. Lawyers knows what? What do most lawyers know?
The answers?
No, the law.
Oh, the law, okay.
Yeah, they know the law. They study the law. And here's Jesus talking, and this lawyer is listening to him, and he decides to ask him a question. Because it's obviously, if he's a lawyer, he knew the law. So when Jesus was talking, he asked a question. Read.
He asked him a question, tempting him and saying, Master, which is the greatest commandment in the law?
See, he really didn't want to know. He was just trying to trap him. But being a lawyer, he knew the law. So therefore, when Christ was talking to him, he's asking him a question from a lawyer standpoint to see what answer is Jesus going to tell him.
And the lawyer knew that.
Oh, God. That's the question. He thought he knew. He thought he knew the answer. That's what gets most people in trouble. When they're talking to God, they think they know the answer already. Yeah. But when you talk to him, you got to talk to him and let him give you. It's called omnipotent. It's called omniscient. He has all knowledge. That's why, as a counselor, he never lies to you. He tells you when he's talking to you, you might ought to hear him very well what he's saying to you, because he's giving you the answer in his conversation with you.
Okay.
He gives this man an answer, even though that ain't the answer he wanted to hear, because he was actually trying to tempt him. He was actually trying to test him, see what he really knows, see where he's coming from, because he done heard him teach, and we know that's because he silenced the Pharisees. In the above verses, he put them to silence. They couldn't say nothing when he was talking. Now the Sadducees get together and get in a group, and one of their number, a lawyer. It don't just say in one of their number, it specifies he's a lawyer.
Right.
Ask him a question to test him. What did he ask him? Verse 36.
Master, which is...
Teacher, which means teacher.
Which is the great commandment in the law?
Which is... Now, see, in a constitution, get this. A constitution is not the law, but the Constitution is the source of the law. Let me let you digress on that a little bit. And I'm going to come back and explain what I mean. The Constitution is not the law. The Constitution is the source of the law. In other words, if you're going to make a law, it has to be in line with your source, your Constitution. For instance, remember in our judicial system, you got House of Representatives and you got senators.
So it's what's in it.
That's what's in your Constitution. If you're going to make a law, it must be in line with your Constitution, because it is the source that every law must flow from.
Oh, okay.
If you make a law and it's not in your Constitution, then you're going to be challenged, and the law is no good because why? People are going to go, that's not what the Constitution says. Let's say it again. Constitution is not the law. It is the source that all laws flow from. That's why you have a judicial system who evaluates what? The laws that the Congress make. Congress being what? House of Representatives and senators. When they make a law, you got the president who vetoes it, and most of the time he'll say that law is what? Unconstitutional. It does not flow from the source of the Constitution. Then you have your judicial system. When that law goes before the Supreme Court says that law is unconstitutional. Just like they said, stop and frisk. Remember? They're saying it's on what? It does not flow from the source of the Constitution, is what they were saying.
Is that saying it's not one of the laws?
They're saying you can't make that a law because your law has to come out of
the Constitution. Okay.
When folks say stuff and it don't come from this, then it ain't right. It ain't real, and God's not gonna.
Not constitutional.
It's unconstitutional.
Okay.
It's not laws.
It's not. So when you make a law, oh, this is good stuff to me. When you make a law, you must first. I wouldn't make a law unless I understood this first, because the law. That's why people. Well, who gave you the right to judge? I have a right to know to judge it because I'm judging it based upon what? The Constitution.
Of the Bible.
This is heaven. Same thing, the Bible.
Yes.
This is heaven's Constitution.
Right.
And when you say stuff that heaven's Constitution don't say, I better know whether or not you made it up. Or I better know, is that constitutional? Is that what the word says? Is that true? Can that be so?
Right.
And when I find out it's not, I have a right to say, no, I disagree with that.
Yes.
Totally disagree with that. Why? It's unconstitutional. It's not in the book. God did not say that. He did not write that. You made that up. And you have no right in a kingdom to make up stuff. That's why Paul said, well, what did Paul said if you would do, it'd help guard against you making rules and laws that are unconstitutional. Why don't you try that one on for size? Look those words up. Look into those words and see if what you're saying is constitutional. See if it's already in there. You can't make the law. He's not telling you that the law can't be made. But if you make the law, it must flow from this source.
Right. In other words, it's got to already be in it. You can't just...
Yes, because now the law is to protect what is in the Constitution. That's what the law that you now just made, it ought to protect what's in the Constitution.
So nobody can come up and just...
You just can't come up and just start saying stuff. And just start that. And you know what people do? They just what? They just start doing stuff.
All the time.
All the time. From church world to life, they just wake up and start doing stuff.
Yeah.
The Lord told me to do that. And I'm saying, really? God didn't tell you to do it if it's unconstitutional. That's how I know I have a right to judge it. I know you're lying. Remember we said last week, you either telling the truth or you're lying. It's just that simple. And if it's unconstitutional, you're lying. Same thing in America. If it's not in the Constitution, then you're lying. All men were created equal while you own slaves. It's a contradictory to your Constitution. You can't make a law to justify slavery when your Constitution just told me all men were created equal. Says, I know the plans that I have for you, to prosper you, not to harm you. Plans that give you hope and a future. Most of the time, people do stuff when they lose what? Hope. People commit suicide. People do all kinds of stuff when they feel like, you need a light on? They do these things when they feel like there is no hope.
That's better.
That might help me a little bit too. So we see now. Where were we at? Let's finish up 37.
37.
Uh-huh.
Jesus said unto him, Thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, and with all thy soul, and with all thy mind.
He never told you to love people first. He said love him first.
Yes.
With all your what?
Your heart, your soul, and mind.
Now, can you name me 3 people that love him that way in your life? I can't. I'm sorry, I hang around a lot of folks, been a lot of places. I can't sit here this morning on this camera, at this table, around this message, and say I can name you 3 people. And we wonder why society is going, now I'm trying to be good. And we wonder why society is where it is. Our priorities are wrong. Because why? We don't love God with all our heart, our mind, and we're trying to figure it out. What's going on? What's wrong? There is no love for his Constitution. There is no love for his word. There is no love for him. Personally. Him. I'm talking about seeking him what? First. Seek, desire. It's not, the only reason why you go looking for him is because you desire it. Yeah. I can throw this pen over in that corner and not go look for it because I really may not what? Desire. I may not want it. Right. So therefore, I won't even go what? Look for it. You don't desire to have it. I don't desire to have it. Even though I had it, I really didn't want it. Through it, I lost it. But if it's something you really want, what do? You go get it. Yeah. You don't stop until you what? Get it. You don't make no excuse. People can tell you, man, you don't need no pink pen. You don't care what they told you. You what? I want it. Right. Mm-hmm. It's called desire. I want it. I wouldn't go to that man's class over there. The reason why you don't want to pursue this because you don't what? You don't want it. Because once you hear it and you want it, you'll do anything in your power to get it. The same way with a car, the same way with a shirt, the same way with some shoes. First, you saw those shoes hanging on that rack, and you didn't stop until you what? Got them. That's what desire is. You don't quit until you get it. You don't your mama can tell you, girl, you don't need them shoes. Them shoes too much money. You don't care what she said. You desired them so much, you didn't stop until what? They were in your closet, in your possession. That's the same way we got to be about God. And we wonder why. You don't know no one with power to do what it is that God wants us to do on this earth. We don't desire him. We don't desire him that way. I'm being honest. I mean, I know great preachers, a lot of folks. I've been around a lot of people. But I can't name you 5 standing here this morning that really love him with all their heart, with all their mind. I'm not telling you nobody does. I'm telling you I can't. My company hasn't been in that way. You may ask the question, well, do you? I'm getting there. Yeah. I'm getting there. And I'm understanding now how important it is to be there. I know what he told me, and I know why he's bringing me there, because years ago, he made it unilateral between he and I. That's why he leads me and guides me in the direction that he has taken me in my life, because it was never between me, him, and I. It was always what he told me, what he wanted, what he was going to do for me. Right. And I had to get to the point where I do this. Love him. Mm-hmm. You see the connection? Yeah. Because he promising me, he told me what he's going to do for me. Right. Now, what's my role in that? To love him with all my what? Your heart, your soul, and your mind. That's my role. That's my role in that. When, he says, when you seek me with all your heart, I will be found.
I know y'all are getting it. I'm trying.
Oh, you got to put forth an effort.
Yes.
there.
Yes.
And I'm going to tell you now, it don't happen when we let distractions happen. It don't happen when we pay attention to what's going on. I'm telling you, growing up as a man, I used to always love to watch The Wizard of Oz and that man behind that curtain. And when they pull that curtain, that dog Toto pulled that curtain down, that wizard spoke, pay no attention to what's pay no attention to what's going on behind that curtain. And that's where we have to get in life, because stuff is going to happen. Things are going to be trying to get you to lose your focus.
Yes,
that's what
that's
it's
right.
all about. And
That's right.
if you really stop and think about it, it doesn't take much to get us off focus. When my eye doctor do my eye exam, he put one in there, he said, how does that look? I said, it's blurry. Then he put another one in. How did that look? It's better than the one that was before. Right. And he put one in there really sharp. Now, I can see it now. See, you got to be in life that when it's blurry, that ain't it. You need something to bring you back to clear focus, because God has already said unilaterally what he's going to do. So now he's trying to see, all of these things are just tests to see if you will keep that sharp focus and love him with what? All your what? Heart, your soul, your mind, and your strength. Or will you get distracted because you can't get no bread that you want? And start doing stuff to fix that bread problem. And mess it all up and got to come back to him. See, that songwriter that wrote, it's only a what? It's only a test that you're going through. What's the test? To see if you will lose focus. And the enemy knows all of us in here is concerned about our what? Our soul. We're concerned about our body. We're concerned about what we're going to eat, what we're going to drink, what we're going to put on. And we will lose focus in a heartbeat.
Because he asked us not to do that.
Because he asked us not to do that. Don't worry about these things. Stay focused, because unilaterally, I've already declared what I'm going to do. But every once in a while, I got to see where your heart is, so I allow things to happen. And you get all distracted. You get your mind over here. And you hey, it happens to every one of us.
Happening right now.
Oh, yeah, it happens to every one of us. Happens to every one of us. And the problem that we have is we can't stay focused long enough to love him with all of your heart, your mind, and soul, because he's unilaterally already declared what he's going to do. That's why I'm telling you, the key in Jeremiah 29:11 is when he says, you will seek me and find me when you seek me with all your heart. Yeah. Can we read that out of the Amplified? We went over that a little fast. Let's go back to Jeremiah 20 and read that out of the Amplified. Because that's where the problem lies. We see Jesus picks it up over here in Matthew 20:22 and 37, and that young lawyer, he thought he was putting Jesus to the test, like Jesus didn't know where his heart was.
I guess Jeremiah
29.
11.
And let's read that out of the Amplified, and let's see what he really said.
For I know the thoughts.
For I know the thoughts.
And plans.
I already got them.
That I have for you, says the Lord. Thoughts and plans for welfare and for peace.
Welfare? What are you talking about? Welfare, that's a dirty word. You ain't gonna have to, when you on welfare, do you work for it?
No.
No. That's why people hate it. Outside of a kingdom, they talk about, well, we Americans. We all from the same country here. Don't they talk bad about folks that are on what?
Yes, they do.
On welfare. Yes. They say, why? They say they won't do what? Nothing. He's not asking you to do nothing to get it. All he's telling you is when you love me with all your heart. That's what he's asking for you. Yes. Oh, that's scary, isn't it? Yeah. Because it's actually welfare. But you are doing something to get it. What are you doing? You're doing what he's about to tell you in verse Keep reading. It's a verse where he's telling you what he wants you to do.
It says, welfare and peace and not for evil, to give you hope in your final outcome. Then you will call upon me, and you will come and pray to me, and I will hear and heed you.
What verse are you at?
I'm at 12.
Read. Keep reading. That's
then
what
you will seek me, inquire for, and require me as a vital necessity. And find me when you search for me with all your heart.
When you gonna find him?
With all your heart.
When you search for him with what?
With all your heart.
When you gonna find him? When you search for him with what? All your heart. That's what he's trying to get us. To really search for him with all your heart. Not with somebody else's heart. Not based on what somebody else is doing. When you search for him with all your heart. There is no part of you that don't desire him. You desire him. You wake up thinking about him. You go to bed thinking about him. Think about it. When you love a person, just even in the natural, with all, I mean your heart. When you lay down, don't you think about him?
That's right.
When you wake up, what's the first thing come to your mind?
That person.
That person. Come on, let's just be honest about it. I've been there.
Right.
When I laid down, she was on my mind.
Oh, yeah.
When I woke up, I may have gotten 5 hours of sleep, but the moment my eyes woke up,
that's who was on your
that's
mind.
who was on my mind.
That's right.
And I wished I could talk to him. I wished I could see him.
Uh-huh.
I wished I just, and then you figure out a way to call him, even though you don't want nothing.
You sure will.
You know I ain't lying. I wish I was lying. That's when you know all of your heart is into that person.
Right.
Matter of fact, you'll start smiling more. You're happier. Yeah. And we always say, excuse me, ladies on the job, so-and-so must be in love.
Sometimes you can't eat, thinking about it. You don't
even want to eat.
You want to eat.
Food is not even a necessity to you. Is that where we are with God?
No.
And we wonder why, if we're going to really come after him, we got to really go after him. And if we're not going to go after him, then let's just be honest. What kind of words would we call that when it's not all your heart? The old folks had words for it. They said half-heartedly.
Yes.
No desire.
No desire.
Right.
Boy, you ain't got no desire for that thing. Why? Well, we used to say, you ain't got no desire for that thing. It was based on how you what?
Treated.
How you treat it. I can tell if you really have a heart for it based on what? How you treat it.
That's right.
It ain't no rocket science to this. How are you treating it? Is it all that you think about? Is it what you desire? Are you really pursuing it? Is all of your heart there? Be honest. And we talk about, is this where your heart is? Because we can tell based on how you tell when a woman, man, his heart is not in a woman, he won't show up. He won't come around. We can tell when a man's heart is not in his children. Am I right? Yeah. He'll make any excuse what? Not to be around it. Any excuse not to show up. Yes. Why? His heart is not there. But I bet his heart is somewhere. Yes, you know where his heart is? Find out where he's going. Right. And that will tell you where his heart is. Yes, it will. It's just that simple. Because the thing how he treats the thing where his heart is not, ain't no need to lie about it. I mean, I know people might want to cover up with Donald Trump. Donald Trump don't have a heart for women.
No, he don't.
No. Why? Based on what? How he treats them. Pigs. I'll grab them here. I'll kiss them when they don't want to be kissed. People who have a heart for something and a respect for it, and they don't treat it that way. They don't. No excuse made. You work on yourself. You tune yourself. You exercise your mind where you won't do nothing but respect that thing and pursue that thing. And you only do one at a time. And this is what's so troubling. You got pastors following this foolishness.
Yes.
That's troubling to me. When you will make excuses for a man with that kind of behavior, when I can't behave like that. I was saying this, I wrote text on Facebook. I wonder if my wife let me get away with that. She's married to me, and I'm trying to kiss. I see a woman that's real pretty, and I put a Tic Tac in my mouth so I can kiss her, even though she don't want to be kissed. And that's to me, that's just craziness. For a man that have a daughter, that's just craziness to me. That's okay. And that same principle applies to God. How are you treating him? Mm-hmm. Question mark. How are you treating him? Is he something you desire? When you go to bed, you're thinking about him. The moment your eyes wake up, you're thinking about him, because he has already declared unilaterally what he wants for you. Mm-hmm. Can I say something? And he declared this, and he didn't even see you before he even saw you. He declared for Adam what he was going to do for him, and Adam wasn't even there yet. And you didn't even, this is the difference between a kingdom, a Lord, and a democracy. See, we work out of that democracy mindset, what we want, what we plan for ourselves. And most of the time, what we plan for ourselves ain't what he has planned for us.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
Yeah, let's say it again. Most of the things we plan for ourselves, because we operate out of this mindset. In a democracy, the people plan and decide what they want to happen to them.
That's fair to me.
We decide what we want.
Right.
And we don't run these plans by him at all. We just wake up and decide what we want. And when it falls apart, then we start to seeking him.
Right.
Right now you fear, you're running.
Now you're in trouble. Mm-hmm. Oh God, all my plans are not working. Wonder why. Because you fail to realize in verse 29, round 12, he's 13, he says, then you will seek me, inquire for, and require me as a vital necessity. That's when we really start to pursuing him. But you won't find him. He said, and find me if you want to. He's giving you the secret to finding him. Isn't he telling you? When all of your heart is involved. Yes. That's it. You should have picked up on that little nugget there. Mm-hmm. When all of your heart is involved. And don't you think you can't fool him? Just like we can't fool you on the earth. When a man can't fool a woman, you can't fool your children. You try to fool your children. Because why? They're looking at how you what?
Treat them.
How you treating me.
That's right.
I'm going to come get you tomorrow and take you for a Slurpee.
And you don't show up.
And you don't show up. But then when you meet him again, son, I love you. Really? Okay, you keep that up now. And every time you do that, he's losing more and more what? Respect. Trust. You're pulling that fabric apart. And every day, but son, I love you. Really? After a while, when he get grown and old enough, what he gonna tell you? I got some better phrases now that I say. I'd say hate me. I prefer you hate me because your love stink. Children are not stupid. People are not stupid. No. And as parents, when your child say stuff to you about that other, don't say that about your daddy. You might not join in, but don't try to tell him he don't know what he's feeling. Right. Because then he lose confidence in your leadership. Mm-hmm. I know in my job, when my bosses say stuff, that their bosses said, I say, you should have said something to him. You know that ain't right. Because now I'm losing credibility in you. I'm wondering if you know what you're doing. Because why? I'm watching you. And you telling me that in the next meeting you're going to say, well, I'm the boss. Well, I'm going to say act like it. Because you're in a position of boss don't mean you're sure acting like a boss. Right. Lead me. Go ahead. Show me how to do this. But right now, I don't have no confidence in you. I have no trust in you. I don't mind letting you know that. Well, ain't nobody perfect. I ain't asked you to be perfect. I asked you to be responsible and accountable. Mm-hmm. How about that one? Mm-hmm. And if you can't be, get out of the position. Get out of the way. And let's put somebody who can be. Because everybody ain't like you. There are some people out there who do love God with all their heart and their soul. I'm just telling you, I haven't ran into very many. Amen?
Amen.
I haven't ran into very many. And there have been times in my life when I struggled with it. I knew my heart was not totally there. And when he wasn't answering every time that I called on him, I knew why. My heart wasn't there. Had enough. You get tired. I ain't thinking about this no more. Your heart just goes there, if you be honest.
Yeah.
And when it goes there, you can't expect to find him. Because he just told you. Matter of fact, if you go to Deuteronomy 4 and 29, let's see what Moses write. How did Moses write about this? Now that's Jeremiah's writing. Let's see what Moses had to say. And remember, most of the time Jesus would say what? It is written.
Yeah, he would.
So he was coming from the Constitution and knew what the Constitution had already said. Let's go to Deuteronomy 4, 29 and 30.
But if from thence you shall seek the Lord thy God, thou shalt find him if thou seek him with all thy heart and with all.
You mean Moses said
soul.
the same? Moses is responsible for this book, isn't it?
Wow. Yeah.
Let's read that out of the Amplified. You mean Moses said the same thing that Jeremiah said? You got to have all your heart into this? Do we need to stop now and go ahead and go get something to eat or some soda or something? Because or do we need to adjust our mindset maybe? You think we need to do that? Or do we see where the problem may be coming from? Verse 29 and in Amplified.
But if from there you will seek and inquire for and require as necessity the Lord your God, you will find him if you truly.
If.
It says if.
If. There's an if in there, isn't it?
Yeah.
We all know what if means.
Mm-hmm.
If.
If.
What is it? 29.
29. But if
you truly.
29.
29. 29. This is Deuteronomy 29 and 30.
30.
We treat our jobs better than we treat our God.
Deuteronomy 4:29.
Deuteronomy chapter 4, verse 29 and 30.
And seek him with all your heart, and mind, and soul, and life. Your life.
Can I get any takers who would say that they're there? So we wonder. You don't have to wonder why. It ain't going according to what he said he would do. It ain't what he said he would do. You ain't doing what?
What he wants you.
What he wants you to do. What he told you to do. Mm-hmm. Give me all of your heart. Don't try to make it work. Just seek me with every ounce of fiber in you.
Heart, mind, and soul, and life.
Well, you can't say it don't work if you know you haven't done that part. It don't work. I hope my daughter, she might be listening. Daddy, I tried that. That don't work. That ain't all your heart.
It says,
she might be listening.
You want 30? 30?
Yes.
30. Read 30.
When you are in tribulation and all these things come up on you.
What?
In the latter days you would return to the Lord your God and be obedient to his voice.
See, sometimes that's what he has to allow to happen. We all know what tribulation is, right? Trouble.
Yeah.
Trials. He does that. Because without it, I'm telling you, if you won't do it and you ain't under a lot of tribulation, you know you won't do it when you are under a lot of tribulation. But sometimes he will cause enough trouble to happen to make you fall on your knees and give him everything you got. Because everything you're trying to do ain't working no way.
Right.
It ain't working no way. Let me go there, because I want to see if there's anything I missed out of Deuteronomy to help dissect that. But do we see that?
Yes.
Man, I ain't gonna lie. I won't tell you no lie. I wasn't there. I wasn't there. And I ain't talking about 4 or 5 years ago. I'm not talking about 4 or 5 years ago. But if from there you will seek, inquire for, and require as necessity. Always. When something is a necessity, doesn't that come first?
Got to be done.
It's got to be first.
Yeah.
The Lord your God, you will find him if you truly seek him with all your heart and mind and soul and life. When you are in tribulation and all of these things come upon you, in the latter days, you will turn to the Lord your God and be obedient to his voice. Why call him Lord and won't do what he say? Why call him that? Why address him as your Lord? Because every Lord wants his citizens to be what? Obedient. Obey me. Do what I'm telling you to do. Seek my face. Seek my kingdom. Seek me first. Trust me.
Hey, if he haven't said anything to you, wait until he does.
Until he does. Mm-hmm. That's another thing that gets us.
That's
now
patient.
that he was sharing with me, this is how people get him mixed up. God told me I don't. For instance, my wife made this comment. God said I don't trust him. Okay, leave that statement right where it is. Mm-hmm. Don't go try to do nothing else to prove that you do.
Yep.
That's where we mess up.
Mm-hmm.
God said I don't trust him. Okay, I'm gonna move this over here and show him that I trust him. That's not what he asked
I'm
you
gonna
to
go
do.
to church and praise him.
I'm going to church and
I'm
praise
gonna
him.
knock on some doors.
I'm going to quit my job to show that I trust him. You don't do nothing until you what? Hear from him next. Because he was telling you what he see in you. Don't mean he told you to do nothing else. I know a lot of folks that used to do that.
Oh, yeah. Right.
I know a lot of people that done stuff because they thought they understood the next move when God was talking to them. No, he was only telling you about your present situation, where you are, what's going on with you. Stop. Don't go do nothing. Because I'll fix that. Why? I know the plans. You don't know the plans that I have for you. I know what I'm going to do next. Trust me. Stay right here where you are. Don't move. Mm-hmm. And that's how the enemy gets in. He gets in because you move. Mm-hmm. I watched some animals one time. I don't know if they were yaks or whatever. And this was the most amazing thing in the animal kingdom I've ever seen. The wolf didn't do nothing but show up. He would show up and just stand. And this was amazing to me. He would just stand and stare at them. And they would start going around in circles. And the more they went around in circles, the more nervous they got. But the wolf never moved. He just standing there. Mm-hmm. And he's just watching. Because he knows they're going to get so nervous after a while. And I'm watching it, that one of them, the baby, especially the baby, he runs out. Uh-huh. But while they were going around in the circle, they were okay. But the very presence of the enemy over here made them so nervous, they went from going around in circles to one of them broke out and started running. That's all he wanted.
That's all he wanted. Get
out from under the protection of the parents. Mm-hmm. And he ate them.
He ate them.
That's happened to us in life. Mm-hmm. The situations show up and we get nervous. Yeah. And we go from getting nervous to doing stuff. Mm-hmm. When we break away, he said, that's exactly what I wanted you to do. Because you broke away, you didn't get no further instructions. And now you out there trying to figure out what in the world is going on. You got nervous, you got afraid, and you did something. Yes. Well, I had to do something. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. Yeah, you could have done something. Waited. Mm-hmm. Trust that he's going to work it out. Yes. I had to go back to one of my old sayings in the bed the other morning. Faith is seeing light when all your eyes see is darkness. Mm-hmm. Picture that. All you see is stuff falling apart. Right. But faith is seeing light. Mm-hmm. When all your eyes see is darkness. Mm-hmm. Because he said we don't walk by faith. Sight. Because all your sight see, ain't no way you coming up out of this. Mm-hmm. All your sight see is it's falling apart. It ain't working. But your faith says, I'm going to just stay right here. It's going to be all right. Oh, yeah. He's going to work this out. Why? Because he always always work in my favor. I called a man up and I was talking to him, and for the first time in my life while I'm talking to him, in the back of my head I'm saying, but you don't know. Y'all don't own this either. And if he don't want me there, don't mean that it failed. It means he didn't want me there.
That's right.
But if he wants me there, I don't care what you say. Because my eyes and my ears heard you say that, man, that's too much for you. But my faith says, I ain't thinking about what you just said.
Right.
You don't own this earth no stinking way.
Right.
And he going to give me what it is he promised me. What's my job? What am I supposed to do?
Love him. With all your heart, your soul, and your mind.
Seek ye
him.
first.
The kingdom of
That's where we get so distracted.
Yeah.
Cause we want stuff, we see stuff,
Yeah.
and we get all wrapped up
Oh, really?
and thrown out of place. Husband acting a fool, children acting crazy, life falling apart. But I sit on the edge of that bed every morning and I say, you know what? Your word never changes. It never changes. Matthew 6:33 never changes. No matter what's going on, your priority has to be what first? The kingdom of God. I heard what you call him saying this yesterday, and I had to stop and think about it. He says, if Jesus says for us to pray that his kingdom will come and that his will be done, why would he say that if it was already being done and if his kingdom was already in full sovereign control? Think about that. Why would he pray for you, tell you to pray for it if it was already been done? So it must not be what?
Done.
In completion. You're right. It must not be done
Up there.
or doing.
Not down.
It's done up there,
Not here.
but not here yet. And I'm sitting there going, you know what? You're right about that. There's not even an argument with that. Because I wouldn't ask you to change my tire, air my tire up, and the tire's already aired up. That wouldn't make no sense to say, Sister Leslie, would you please help me put some air in this tire? And you walk out the tire, wouldn't you be standing there going, what's wrong with Mac today? That tire's already, and then you had a gauge, and you put the gauge in, and the pressure says 45, it's already, what's wrong with Mac? You start thinking something wrong with me.
Oh, yeah.
You got you out there putting air in a tire. That don't need air. Why is he saying, pray that my kingdom, because, all right, let's be honest. What's dominating? Is it like righteousness dominating the world now? Or does it look like Satan is running amok? The latter, isn't it? Yeah. He's running amok. You try, even we try to get stuff done, and he fight, and next thing you know, you sitting back going, Lord have mercy. I'm tired of fighting. Because he's just running the show right now.
Yes, he is.
But I heard him say also, and God said, hang in there. My kingdom is coming.
Yeah.
It's coming. It's coming. And you know why I know it's coming? Because he's opening the eyes of some of us to see that sooner than later, this is going to change. But on the flip side of that, we're going to lose some folk. Because when he comes, it ain't going to be pretty. It ain't going to be nice. But you get to run the show afterwards. This, I want to go into as we was talking about the Constitution, it's not the law. The Constitution is the source of the law. All right, let's go into this. And we already understand this part. Okay, the kingdom of heaven we call the book, called the Bible. The Bible is the express will of the king in written form. We would agree with that, right? It is the constitution of his kingdom. Now, the words of the king become the law of the land. His word do not produce the contract. His words are the contract. Did we get that? What is the word of God, or the thing that we say right now is the law of God for the earth? The Bible. It is the contract. It's already the contract. And out of this contract, this Constitution, comes the law. The Constitution is not the law. The Constitution produces the law. So in other words, when you're making a law, it comes out of what? The Constitution, which is what we were talking about earlier. And we're going to give an example of how this really works. The Constitution establishes the terms, the conditions, and rights of life in the kingdom. This thing determines the rights and the life and the conditions for what you. And what are the conditions? We just read them. You got to seek God with what? All your heart. The Constitution laid out the condition to get him to hear you. Then he said, when you seek me with all your heart, you what? You find. Moses turns and say the same thing. Jesus says to this rich young lawyer, or well, I won't say rich, just a young lawyer who was trying to put him to the test, said those three people said the exact same thing. Am I right? Mm-hmm. Moses says it, Jeremiah says it, then Jesus said it. And they were all prophets who what? Spoke for God and interpret the Constitution. Yeah. That's called conditions. That's called conditions. There are conditions that must be met in order for this thing to work. Even in the natural world, if you break the Constitution, which is the conditions that the forefathers, founding fathers put on, you're probably going to get in trouble with the what? Law. Jesus, Jeremiah, and Moses all Moses declared the
Jeremiah
same
second, Jesus
thing.
third.
So out of the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses, you all heard them say the same exact thing. That's called conditions. These are the conditions that you must meet if you want God, your Father, your Lord, your King to respond on your behalf. Stop half-heartedly trying to serve him. Well, I went to church this morning. That ain't what he said. You can go to church and still not love God with all your heart.
That's right. That's right.
Well, I feed the poor. You can feed the poor and still not yet love God with all your heart. Because the poor don't have plans for you. God has plans for you. I can give my body to be burned. That was the most troubling scripture. How can I give my body to be burned and yet not have a heart for God?
Sacrifice, but no heart.
Isn't that something? That's all it is. It's a sacrifice, but no heart. God wants your what? Your heart, your mind, your soul,
and your life.
And your life.
But that's giving your life. How can you sacrifice and not?
Because it's not where.
Where's your heart at?
Where's your heart? What's your motive for why you did that?
Oh, they weren't doing it for God.
It may not be for God. It may be for who?
Maybe
for
yourself.
Gotcha. So you can get. Oh, Leslie threw her life into that train, and people are just talking about you. That still don't mean you love God.
But I fed the hungry.
I fed them. I mean, I was there every stinking day of my life. And God said, good. But that don't mean you got a heart.
I gave this, I gave that. But
that's not what he wants. It's you. And even, it came from my heart. That's still saying, give me your heart. Let me direct the plans. See, you don't know the plans that I have for you. It questions your motive now. Well, I thought this is what he wanted. You don't have to think when you go to him because he's not what?
Dead.
He's not dead. He's alive. He can direct you to the path that he has set for you. Then he said, I know the plans that I have for you. While you over here guessing the plans and thinking the plans. Well, Sister Early fed the poor. I'm going to feed them too. Look like God was. That's not what he told you to do. Why? How you going to find it out? When you love him with all your heart and your soul and your mind, and you find out what plans he had for you.
Find out.
It's your responsibility.
Talk to them.
Seek you what? First, the kingdom of God. And seek it with all your what? Heart. Every bit of you. I remember when I started getting up in the mornings, I would say, I'm coming because I want to be here. I didn't come so I can stand up in church and testify. I get up every morning and pray. I ain't in church testifying that. Matter of fact, I ain't been in a church building in a year. Close to a year. But I still get up. There is no excuse not to pursue him with every ounce of your life. And you would think, well, but I do good. He didn't ask you to do good. He asked you to come to him. Me, Indian chief, give him blanket to Jesus. Me, Indian chief, give him pony to Jesus. No, he don't want your pony. He don't want your blanket. What does he want? You. Uncle Sam wants you. Bring him you. Why? Because I have plans that I've already unilaterally made for you. Don't go out and try to do it yourself. This Constitution comes from the Constitution is not the law. The Constitution produces law. What I mean is that the Constitution establishes the terms, the conditions, and rights of life in the kingdom. This leads to laws designed with the express purpose of ensuring that all of those terms, conditions, and rights are preserved, protected, and accomplished. Here we go. The Constitution is the will and the testament of the king for his citizens. What is? This thing is his will and testament.
The Bible.
Of the king for his citizens. Will and testaments are two different but related. A will and a testament are two different but related words that are very important. A will. When a person writes a will, he is telling you what's on his what?
Mind.
Mind. For example, I want Kara to have all of my black shoes. I just expressed that, what was on my what?
Mind.
I want Leslie to have all my dead mouse collection. Isn't that wonderful? I'm thinking about you.
Thank you.
I'm giving her my dead hamster collection. A will is what is the mind of a person. His or her desires and intent. I want you to have this. I want Kara to have my car. I want my neighbor to have that old green Dodge after the tires are all on flat. I'm telling you what I want.
After they on flat.
But now, a testament. A will is what's in your mind. A testament is written where?
In your heart.
Document.
Document.
It has to be a document.
Written. It has to be
Like
written.
Like testament.
A testament has to be documented. If I just have it on my mind and I die.
Well, we have testimony service. That's not.
No, that's
That's
different.
Not, that's different.
That's different.
That's completely different.
Testament. Think about it. Last will and testament. When it's a testament, it has to be physically documented.
Paper.
Paper.
Put it on paper.
Put it on paper. Al Green and Al and Nisby. Not that I don't love you, but you know that I do. It's one thing I want you to do. Put it on paper.
No more words than I did.
Yes, I do. I know. I played the song Saturday, Friday, so
Oh my Lord.
love the song. A testament is a physical documentation of a person's will, codifying his or her desire and intent in the form of a legal document. A will, then, is in your head. A testament is when you write down what is in your head. This is why lawyers always ask, Do you have a will and testament? In other words, did they write it down?
On a piece of paper.
Did they put it on paper?
What was on your mind?
The written testament clarifies to all parties your desire and intent and makes them verifiable in a courtroom. Did you learn something with that right there? Was that pretty good? Because most folk only have it where?
In their head.
In their head. But they never put it on paper.
Never put it on paper.
Because now when it's on paper, the lawyer can challenge it with the law. And see if what you just wrote was constitutional or legal. Because what is he going to compare what you wrote on paper to? What's written in the Constitution and what's written in the what? Law. That's what lawyers know. They know the law. And they compare your written document with the law and says, that's okay. That's how it works. Man, I'm telling you, we need...
Does he talk about that just in that book? Does he talk about it in this one?
He does not talk. That's why when you're studying this, you got to have both so you can go in between. Because he just makes mention in this book that a kingdom, what is a kingdom? And he mentioned a little bit about a constitution. But when I'm studying about the Constitution in this book, it's more in depth on what a constitution is. I wanted to go into this other part that I was reading about when you go before an attorney, how he takes that law and go over your
Will. Or
go over your will.
Testament.
Yes, that's right. He go over your testament because that's what he knows is.
Well, you better have it together then. You just can't put nothing.
You just can't write it down. That's why you got to take it before an attorney so he can look, compare what you've done to the what? To the law. Yes. See how we do stuff? We just do stuff thinking, they say I got to write it down, so I wrote it down. Take it to someone professionally so he can compare it to the law. That's why it ends up in probate or in somewhere when a judge trying to figure out, what are you trying to say? Is this constitutional? Is this legal? Does it comply with the law?
Oh, Lord.
Oh, help us, Jesus. Help us, Jesus. Help us. We just do stuff. That's our problem.
Yes,
We do stuff.
Go do it.
And we don't go check it out.
Ignorant.
We do it with ignorant. We do it with this. We do it in life. We don't check it out with nothing. We just go do stuff. Why? Because it feels good. I thought I could do this.
And then we end up with nothing.
And then we end up with nothing. And then we're fussing and fighting and mad because this one got it. Because grandma say, I wanted her to have everything. Or you end up in probate and lose half of what you could have gotten if you had what? Done it properly. Do it right. And you won't have all of these problems. In other words, it's a total disregard for the law. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Basically, it's I don't care what the law says.
Well, you get in trouble when you find out what the law
When
is.
you dead and gone. It's your children back here. Why didn't Mama do this right? Why didn't that? My mama do. I ain't going no attorney. They all crooks. All right, all crooked attorneys, but still, cause they're all crooked, don't mean you get to go past the law. The laws have to be respected. Let me see if I can find that. Because I was looking, I should have highlighted like I did this. Because I was looking, principles. I looked that word up this morning. Principle, whenever you use the word principle, is an educator. A principle is the primary thing or the most important thing. Here's some principles of the kingdom. Every kingdom has a constitution. Got to remember that. That's a principle. The constitution of the kingdom is the documented will, purpose, and intent of the king. It has to be what? Written.
Documented.
When Jesus was fighting the devil, what would he say? It is what? Written. It is documented.
Yeah.
You can't touch me.
Yes, it is documented. That if I love God with all my heart, my soul, my mind, it is documented. In a kingdom, the Constitution is a royal contract. In a kingdom, not in a democracy. In a democracy, it's with the people. But in a kingdom, it's a royal contract that the king has with his citizens. And it's all expressed out of his will, his desire. It's unilateral. Not we the people, but I the Lord. I will. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. Here's what I want you to do. Love me.
It's all your heart.
Well, that's all I'm asking you to do. Give me all your heart. And stop fussing because you ain't giving me all your heart and it ain't working.
So your body, your mind, and your soul is your heart.
If you give him all your heart, he got your body, mind. So
that.
if he got all of your heart, what do you think controls most of you? Again, when the Lord moves up on you and you start clapping your hand, it caused you. It told you to.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I wish I could get into this thing about your head. We all know this. Controls pretty much everything you do. You put your hand on a hot stove. What did the brain tell you your hand to do? See, your body responded because it came from here. Quickly. You didn't even have time. I think I'm going to like the sloth. Move my hand off of that. No, it jumped up. Why? Because that's where the Spirit of God never intended for you to operate out of your soul. He intended for you to operate out of your spirit. Because in your spirit, it controls even your soul. Because there is no connection. It only does what your spirit told it to do. Raise your hand for it. That's what I ain't finna come in. Everybody raise their hand. If you full of the Spirit, when it hits you, you will raise your hand. Your hand may not even want to go up this morning, but they're going. Your knees may not even want to bow this morning, but they bowing. Why? Because your body is doing and only responding because your spirit has taken over. That's why we need that Spirit of God in us, because it takes over. It didn't come to compromise with your body. It didn't come to compromise with your soul, because your soul will see. Remember that thing I used to teach this about? There are 5 things to protect the body, 5 things to protect the soul, 5 things to protect the spirit. Worship was one of them. That's why worshiping God was so important, because when you worship God, it tells your soul, and your soul tells your body, and all. But everything came out of the spirit, which is what was lost when man sinned. His spirit became darkened and alienated, and that's why we need a spiritual what? Rebirth. Your spirit becomes alive and in contact with God again, and now you just need to work on obeying Him and loving Him and falling in love with Him, and with all of your heart, with all of your mind, with all of your being, with all of your life, with all of your soul, you give Him everything you have. But again, I can't name 5 people that I've seen operate like this. So I'm out here I'm in this boat by myself. I ain't saying nobody else did, but I can't name 5 that I could say honestly, physically, I've seen them live like this. No, I can't. I'm going to tell you the God honest truth. I can't name.
It's a constant challenge.
It's a constant challenge when you're trying to do something you've never seen done before. Nobody's ever demonstrated before you other than Jesus Christ, who is not dead, but I haven't had that physical encounter every day with Him, like I do you and you do other people. That's what I'm talking about. I have had that encounter with Him, but it's not something I've seen demonstrated before me on a daily basis, so I can say, wow, I think I can, I'm going to do what He's doing. I haven't had that. I haven't had it. I had a lot of folks tell me about preaching. This is what you got to do. You got to take context. You got to do this. I've seen all of that. Seen it all. Heard it all. And still, folks are living like hellhounds in the church. Folks living like hellhounds in their home. Folks can't get along with each other.
No.
But man, we sat down and got us a good old sermon together and got us a good topic.
Topic, 3 details, and a conclusion.
And a conclusion. Now we're going to the house. Well, we ain't going to the house. Home buffet ain't closed yet. We're going to finish this and go to home buffet. And go eat. Praise the Lord. And then we'll come back next Sunday and do this all over again and shout and dance and religious structure. And we feel like if we do these things, I've done my duty. Why ain't the Lord answering my prayer? Why are my children going astray? Why are my finances falling apart? Jesus, I fell on my knees and talked to you. Yeah, but do you love him with all your heart? All of this stuff is for you. It's some stuff you want. But do you really love him with all your heart? What's your motive for why you're doing it in the first place?
And also because you're trying to get something from him.
Now you need to behave yourself. You need to behave. Most of the time, it's because we want something from him. It ain't because we really love him. You better behave yourself. Most of the time, if we be honest, we want something from him. It ain't because I just want to be in his presence. It ain't because I love. I'm telling you, when you really love a woman, most men want something from you. And that's why they're lying and saying what other real men will say. But in the end, when you really watch his motives, he wanted something.
That's right.
But you can tell when it's genuine.
Yes.
Even when he don't get it, he still comes by.
Yes.
Even when he ain't, he still want to be around you. He'll make up excuses. She'll make, why? Because I don't want nothing. I used to hear T.D. Jakes say that all the time. I want some people that hang around me that don't want nothing. More folk hung around him. You know what they wanted? Show me how to build a big mega church like you got.
Yes.
Show me how you did this. Why? I want something what? From you. How come I just can't hang around you? Because I just want to be around you. I just want to be in your company. I just want to be in your presence. Oh, you about to make me shout with that one because that's where I'm trying to get. Why do I show up? As my wife said, motive. Why am I there? Why? I just want you to feed my children. I just want you to put bread on my table. And after you do that, I'm gone. That ain't no love for him. That's wanting something. We saying this out. That's wanting something. You want something. What do you want? And when you get it, you run on off.
Till next time.
Until I need something the next time. But what about just showing up? Just because.
Yeah.
That's where I used to say. I get on the edge of my bed. Well, I sought the Lord so I can get a message for the people this morning. I don't want no message for no people. I seek him because I just want to be in his presence. Think about no message for the people. They ain't half of them ain't gonna do. They want you to sit down and shut up so they ready to go to the house. Matter of fact, the other half didn't want to come and one half ready to go. Because it's all about us.
Yeah.
It's all about us.
I admit it.
It's all about us. Everything we do is about us. I want something. I don't want nothing. I just want to be in your presence. That's what David came to the conclusion. I just want to be in his presence. If I just can be, hide me, he said, under a rock. Just let me be. He said, if I could just make it to the house of God, the presence. If I can just get into his presence. Why? So I can just bask in his glory. Tell him how wonderful he is. Tell him how good he is.
We still have, well, personally me, I still have that religious mindset of you praise him, he'll give it to you. You worship him, he'll give it to you. Not because I need. Some of us in financial bondage, some of us in financial misery or distress or stressed out. I'm coming to you because I need you. Not because he's God, he's the king, he's almighty. Just to want things, just to get something from him. Because you know he has it. You know, and that's where, religion will get to you. That will get to you. And that's the change that including me, we have to make. The religious part of our minds
Yes.
have to go and seek God just for Him and Him only.
So
It's a change. That's a
How do you
change.
get to that point where, or how do you even recognize it?
Be honest. For me, I was honest about it. I had, because it got to a point where He had said, "You need to come to me. Anything that you need to come to me." I will go to my mom. I will go to this person or that person asking that I need. I wasn't used to going to Him, asking Him that I need this, asking I need. And it first started out like that, because He wants you to get used to Him, for coming to Him,
Talking to him.
talking to Him.
Yeah.
Now I wasn't thinking about me just because I love Him. Of course I love Him, but in love with Him, I'm not there yet. But I come to Him because I need it. I want it. There's things that I need. Okay, you said that I can come to you because I have nobody else. You told me not to do that. You told me not to go to my mama. You told me not to go to my daddy. You told me to come to you because you are my Father. You are it. But now the mindset, the mind changed now. Now that I've seen Him done these things for me, because I did go to Him, now it's making me want Him just a little bit more. The more He does, the more trusting, the more faith that you have. The more that He does things for you, you keep going to it, keep doing it. Is it there yet? No, it's not there yet. But the more He keeps doing and doing and doing and doing. Oh, I know who to go to. God. There's things I haven't asked my mom or nobody else for. I go to Him. If He don't give it to me, that means I don't need it. It's not time yet. I'm not ready for it yet. But I still see Him. You need to seek. God said you need to seek me even when you're hurting. You need to seek me even when you're sad, when you're depressed, when you're lonely, when you're sad. You need to seek me. Come to me. And that was where, okay, my whole heart. I got to give Him my whole heart with that one. No matter what's going on. No matter.
She was saying, how do you get there? She was saying, you got to recognize first that you're not there.
Right.
That's the honest part.
That's right.
And when you know that you're not there, then you start. It's like anything in life. Most people don't recognize when they're gaining weight. Put on that pair.
So you can't fit them pants.
There you go. That's exactly what I'm about to say. When you can't, then you look at that and go, I need to what?
I need to
do something.
Do something.
I got to do something. Then you start making a plan.
Yeah.
But it all started when you got. But until then, you weren't doing nothing about it. You didn't even notice that. I mean, even for me, I noticed when I put these pants on, when they fall off, oh, I must be losing a little weight. I noticed when I put these pants on and I can barely breathe.
Yeah, again.
I done gained some pounds. Then I start making a plan of what I'm going to do. When I know I'm not, what am I going to do? You know what? I'm going to start analyzing. Am I really in love with God? I'm going to start sitting and going, why am I doing this? Am I looking for something? And be honest with myself as to why I'm doing what I'm doing.
I never thought about, am I looking for something? Because He told me to come to you. Right. So now I gotta, as He's talking, I got to analyze my thinking now.
Look at this.
Because you told me to come to you. I'm coming.
Look at this. Let me read this part. So the kingdom constitution states that the king desires. This is already the king desires for his citizens. And because he is a righteous and benevolent king, his desires are always for our greatest good and benefit. The King of heaven wants to bless us. He wants blessings to overtake us. We are always telling God what to do. How many would say amen to that? Yeah. Especially today. Here's what I want. Here's what I want. Here's what I want. But God says in this kingdom, I make the contracts.
It's not what you want.
Not what you want, but I... Do you see? So when you're sitting, are you asking for what you want? Or are you asking for what? So if you're asking for what he wants, the blessings of what he wants overtake you, and you get the benefit out of those blessings overtaking you. What do you want? What do you want? When you wake up in the morning, what do you want? Not what I want. What do you want?
No, I don't do that.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Because it's always about who?
You.
Us four
Yeah.
and no more. What do I want? What do I want this. I want this. We always, I'm telling you, this is what he told me years ago. Don't tell me how to do it. When I tell him what I want now, matter of fact, I don't even say what I want anymore. My prayer every morning for the last 6 years is, thy will be done. Thy kingdom come. Thy kingdom come. Thy will be done. In other words, what do you want?
Right.
Well, I don't want to go to work today. I want to quit this job. That's what who? I want. That's not my prayer. My prayer. And I don't know when he wants me out of there, what is he going to do?
Tell you.
He's going to take me out. His blessings are going to what? Overtake me. Finances will start to come. And I will what? Get out.
Yes.
I'll know it. Why? Because it's going to be prevalent.
Flesh get in the way so much.
Don't it, though?
It just gets in the way.
Our biggest problem,
Flesh,
I'm telling you, our biggest problem is not people.
Ourselves.
It's ourselves. It's always have been. We like to blame it and point it on people.
Yeah.
When I listen to Don, I was like, that's not a true confession, Don. A true confession don't point at the next person. True confession owns it all. I am a pig. What am I going to do about it?
Yeah.
I got piggish thoughts.
Right.
I got piggish thoughts. What am I going to do about it? I'm going to come up with me a plan. I'm going to my maker and say, fix me. Stop trying to pretend. Stop going to black folk churches and got folk laying their hands and praying for you. That ain't going to fix your problem. The only thing going to fix your problem, you're going to have to make up in your own mind to go to him and be honest with him about what you're dealing with. And he'll show you where it came from.
You told me.
He'll show you where it came from.
I don't trust him.
He'll show you where it originated. Why? Why? But I have desires to bless you. But you don't care for me with all your heart.
No.
You even come to me because you want me to fix you. How come you don't come to me because you want to do my will?
Stop that.
Fix you.
Fix me. No, fix me. I'm talking about all my problems and my issues. I want to come to you. Well, if you want me to do your will, fixing me is already going to be. He automatically got to fix me to do his will. But I just want to be with you. End the discussion. Stop right there. I just want to be with you. So in order for me to do his will, I know he got to fix me.
Right.
Yeah, well, duh.
Yeah, well, that's a duh moment right there. But he wants us to just want him.
Yes.
Just desire him. Just be in my presence. Spend that time with me. Just me and you, just because. And I find even in the marriage world, women want somebody who just be there and want to be there.
Yes.
Am I right?
Yes.
That's right.
You don't want no man thinking he got to be there because one, he want to have sex with you because he's there, and he thought because he was there for an hour or two a day or 3 or 4 or 5 years or 10 years that you're going to give it. No. How about if I just come there and you, in my treating you, you know I came there to be with you. Why? Because I just wanted to be there. I was reading a book about quality time. Most women get charged emotionally. Their emotional tank is filled when a man will spend quality time, uninterrupted, because he what? Wants to be there. But ain't nothing like a person being near you and don't want to be there. You always arguing. You're always fussing. You're always fighting. The least thing ticks them off. They don't want to be there. You can tell when somebody want to be there, they'll stop an argument by just getting quiet because they don't want to argue with you. They don't want you to be upset. They don't want you to fuss and fight.
Yeah.
But you can also tell, I read in the book of Proverbs, I found this, when people hate you, they'll find a reason to argue with you. They don't like you.
Right.
I noticed.
They don't like you. They'll strike up a reason to argue with you. they hate you.
Yeah.
That's what Proverbs says. There's some hatred going on.
Very jealous.
They're jealous of you. They'll strike up an argument, and you be sitting there, but I ain't done nothing. You ain't had to do nothing. Your presence, your lifestyle upsets them.
Yep. That's why a certain person ain't in with my life now.
Let's stop right now. That's some good stuff. I'm telling you, we're gonna start a nation. We're gonna fool around here and start a nation. This is how nations get
That
started.
would be good.
A holy nation. A royal priesthood. We're gonna fool around here and start a nation. Right at this table. That's how they got started.
Slowly but surely. 11
men, or however, sitting around that table, discussing the Constitution and writing. We see now they didn't put it together in 1 year. It took them a long time. I am learning so much about how to read. My son, Jared texted me something. He said, I ain't gonna lie, I never thought about when you read a book what's really going on. I gotta read. Did I read this last week? Let me read you this. Man, that text stayed with me all week long. I ain't gonna lie. It's like, wow, man. He really learning something. Let me see if I can find it. Because he shared when we were riding home. He said that is 3 reasons why a person write a book. And 3 things that the author is trying to say. I'm looking at him like, go on, boy, but keep talking. You might sure. you might help your daddy see something.
And he did.
And he did. And it just stayed with me.
Stayed with me.
And I said, wow, now when I read a book, it's information, entertainment, and persuade. And he said, Daddy, whenever Arthur writes a book, he's trying to give you some information. 2, he may be trying to entertain. Or 3, he may be trying to persuade you. And I started thinking about this. I said, this is information.
That's right.
This is information
It's
I never... And I can be persuaded now by the information. See, the information persuaded me. That's why I said, you ain't going to change no man. If information don't change him, he ain't going to change.
Ain't gonna change it.
He ain't going to change if what changes you is the proper information. When I got the proper information, you could give me this because I had already been tired of the religious world and the church world. I was sick of it because there ain't no power in there.
Oh, yeah.
Nothing but a lot of empty promises. People dying all around you. And ain't nobody got no power to heal nobody, do nothing but fussing. And who going to be in charge? And that's... So the proper information, that's why they got what Bishop Norman said, you reading out of these motivational books. Well, y'all wasn't doing nothing very much to motivate me. I was wide open for motivation for some good information, and I now see it's the kingdom that I was missing. That's what I've been, and this man just provided me the information. He did his own persuading. Let's stop right there. Thank you for tuning in. Come back next week. We're going to do this again. We're not going to get off of this covenant thing until we Constitution, till we understand what a constitution really is.
Be blessed.